What's an important topic to talk about, but it's sometimes very hard to, and it's come to light a lot recently with the death of actor and comedian Robin Williams. Topic of depression has been talked about a lot recently, particularly after his death caught family and friends by surprise. It turned out his family says he was depressed, and he has said that. So we're talking about that this morning. Dr. Scott Carroll, psychiatrist from the University of New Mexico, is here. We're going to talk a little bit about better understanding depression, how to spot it, and what to do about it. Dr. Carroll, welcome back. It's good to see you. Okay, so what exactly is someone, or how do you clarify someone who is clinically depressed?
Well, I think the thing to say is that, depression is an abnormal state, whereas sadness is a fairly normal state.
Sure.
Or a state that does happen from time to time that's appropriate to situations. So you think about with depression, it's either excessive, so the reaction to the situation is excessive, or it lasts longer than it should. Because most people, they get sad, someone dies that they love, they typically, it can be fairly rough, but for just usually 2 to 3 months, and then they start to come out of it. In the case of depression, what you see is people don't improve. So either they're more sad than they should be, or more impaired, or they just don't kind of come out of it as you would expect. That would be a good example.
So is that 2 to 3 months, is that a general, as much as you can generalize something,
Yes.
a generalized timetable of someone is sad, and then it might be a deeper issue to look into?
Right. If you're not getting better after 2 to 3 months, and let's say even if you were sad to an appropriate degree, for an appropriate event or as expected, you should start recovering, and typically there's, 2 to 3 months. The other clue, however, is suicidal thought. That's a big clue that that's not a normal sadness.
Okay.
Is that if you're having suicidal thoughts.
And obviously, I would imagine anytime that if you know someone who has those thoughts, it's time to go talk to somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt. Instantly. It's not a let's wait and see sort of thing, right?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if someone's talking suicidal thoughts, it's obviously there. What are some of the other warning signs, particularly for guys? Guys don't talk about their feelings. They don't want to talk about, I'm not really feeling really great right now.
Right. Well, one of the things is, irritability. For males, we're often very angry, very irritable, and our anger is out of proportion to situations, and we can't sort of rein it in. That's a big clue. Another clue for males is alcohol use. Males, when we tend to get down, we tend to drink more. So
Okay.
there's a strong correlation between, alcohol use and depression in males.
Okay. So what causes all of this? A second ago, you talked about a death in the family.
Right.
I think that's an obvious one. What other things could be causing this kind of depression?
Anxiety and stress are big factors. In fact, there's pretty good evidence that anxiety and stress are sort of the roads into depression. So when you sort of have an excessive level of anxiety or stress for a little bit longer than you can tolerate, then you often start to head into depression. And that length of time varies based on experience and genetics and things like that. But there is a point in time where if we're anxious enough and stressed enough, all of us will get depressed.
Sure. Okay, so I've known people in the past who are depressed, and it's going on for a while. And how do you bring this up to someone to say, you know what, I think you have a serious medical condition here. It's a touchy subject, and a lot of people, the instant reaction is going to be, no, I don't. What are you talking about? They're going to get defensive.
Well, the first thing to say is it's safe to ask. It's okay to ask somebody, are you depressed or are you having suicidal thoughts? You're not going to make them worse just asking. Now, they may not be happy about it, but you didn't sort of make their condition worse.
Okay, that's good to know. You're not going to make it worse by asking. That's
Right.
good advice. And then how do you proceed from there after you ask the question?
Well, some of it is, just actually talking about it can be helpful to the individual, but also recognize, you're not a therapist, you're not professionally trained. So while there's some value in talking as a friend or family member, you still often need professional help. And so, there are a lot of resources available, that you can contact in terms of, Google it, look in the Yellow Pages, many different organizations. And there's also a lot of therapy available on, a lot of places offer therapy sliding scale. So,
Sure.
based on what your ability to pay. Also, the UNM Mental Health Center provides a lot of free services or almost free services, to people who can't afford, them here in Bernalillo County.
Okay. Great advice, Dr. Scott Carroll. You can find out more about what UNM offers. Also, you can get information on the New Mexico Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can call that 24/7. There's the number. I think that's for the national one. We have information on the local one as well. Dr. Scott Carroll, good advice. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's good to see you.